And welcome, guys. Welcome. We're bringing you back to the SNP Podcast, episode 26. We've been on a hiatus for quite some time. Carlos, say welcome to the crowd.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Yeah, so due to COVID reasons, we weren't able to meet up in the usual studio as always. I did want to bring up what we're going to be talking about today. Usually, we would be talking about like entertainment news, technology, video games, and whatnot. But today, I think we're going to be focusing a lot on technology and whatnot because there's a lot of cool things going considering what's been going on in the world. You know, with Biden's inauguration and all the crazy whatnots that's been going on. Let's talk about you gamers. So one of our first subjects is Carlos brought this up to me, and it says Nvidia is going to be reselling the 2060 series cards to customers. So go ahead and explain that a little bit, Carlos.
Oh yeah, because it's just a really quick new news. It's just because getting a hold of any 3000 series Nvidia cards, it's pretty much impossible unless you want to
I feel like
pay
it's
quite
I
quite
feel
a
like it's
price.
hard to get any type of cards,
I mean,
right?
if you don't want to spend pay 4 times the price of a regular GP graphics card,
Yeah.
then yeah, it's gonna be very difficult. But yeah, because it's been so difficult to get any of those cards that
Uh-huh.
well, Nvidia they still want to make money. I mean, they're not selling as many things
Of course, they got to hit their
as
bottom
they used
line,
to.
right?
Yeah. So but now they're re-releasing old stuff just to sell something. So there
Yeah.
was, the quarters. The quarter gonna be pretty low.
Yeah. Okay. So in their quarterly thing. So
Yeah.
so obviously everyone knows that it's the 3000 cards out and
hmm
they're going to be re-releasing the 2060 series cards.
Yeah.
So they
I
can bring back the
believe.
mid-range, right?
Yeah, I believe that they might be released with some bonuses, some
Yeah, like
bonus
video
items
games or
like.
something.
Well, not only that, but hopefully they'll be released with with a faster clock or faster RAM, VRAM or
Yeah.
something. At least to make it worth.
I was I
But
was
still,
I was thinking that do you think that might also coincide with maybe, yield that they've been having with the wafers with their new stuff? That's why they're probably going on the old fabrication process.
I don't think that's probably something because every new technology because this is what new technology, new everything. So of course, in the beginning, it
Yeah.
takes time for them to get to start producing good quality wafers with high yields.
Yeah.
So and because this is new technology, we're during COVID, and pretty much all the factories and all the supply chain is somewhat disrupted.
Hmm.
So that's probably one of the things fueling into the shortages of GPUs right now.
Okay.
So you know, yeah.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
hopefully, like, any of you guys are trying to upgrade computers and whatnot, hopefully you can get your hands on, something because right now it feels like the drought, like with the cryptocurrency drought back in what, 2017, 18 during the Bitcoin craze. I remember that
Uh,
where cards that were usually like $500 were going up upwards of 1,000. Like everything was like double the price.
yeah, I know. And so a while back ago, I heard the news about some guy. Crap, I forgot where, but he himself bought over close to like 130 90s just
Uh,
himself. I don't know how he got. He
130.
managed. Yeah,
So he can resell them or
no.
so he can use them? For what, mining? Uh-huh. And there's the bottom line. He's trying to make
Yeah.
money.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because I think he spent like something like over $100,000 on GPUs. No way. I forgot the
I
actually I
mean,
forgot the math.
that kind of coincides with something we were gonna talk about, but we're not gonna touch up too much on it. But like, the whole like $100 billion has gone off the market cap for Bitcoin due to huge sell-offs. I mean, that's what I heard, but we're not going to talk much more on that. Um, let's move on. This one is very interesting. As you guys may know, I love space. I love Star Trek. I love anything that has to do with like comparison with technology and also like extraterrestrial stuff. Um, so there was a cosmic body in our solar system, right? I think it was. So the title was Cosmic Visitor, Oumuamua. So it was probably found by like the telescopes in Hawaii, because I remember I used to guard those when I was located there. Um, might be alien technology after all, because they were seeing the cosmic body speed up, but
Mhm.
they were seeing it like speed up for some reason, but it was not showing like any tail. Like they were saying it's a comet. Um, it like
So it was.
yeah, it was showing, it wasn't showing like a, because there's a trail of like
Hmm.
gas and dust whenever a
Normal.
comet passes by, you
Yeah,
know.
a comet. But if it's just a regular meteorite made of rock and metal, they
Yeah,
don't have
yeah,
the
but it wouldn't accelerate. But that's the thing, like it accelerated. So they were having theories that it might just be like alien technology, and I don't know, maybe it's like like uh observation tool to observe how humans are progressing.
could be. I would hope so. It would be nice. Yeah, because I mean, yeah, any object in space, once an object starts to move, usually it doesn't. Uh, the speed doesn't change.
Yeah, it's usually linear.
Yeah,
So I mean, there shouldn't be any boosts in speed. So I
yeah.
that
Have they,
that's
have they detected any change in trajectory?
trajectory? No, I don't. I'm not sure about that. They, they,
No.
they, yeah. There was a scientist running papers on it, and they also came up with another theory that it may just be like another thing, but or like another theory saying it could be a certain like gas trail or something that is not detectable by like current sensors or whatnot.
Oh,
But
that.
like that theory also negates like this other theory they have. So there was like it can't be that. So the most top one is just like it might just be an alien observation tool.
Mm. I mean, yeah, 'cause I mean, just now I was thinking about it, and let's say that it's just a rock, and for whatever reason, it's just floating, going, and there was like some sort of explosion within from inside that is powerful enough to accelerate the rock.
Hmm.
That would make it um, accelerate. However,
Yeah.
if anything that is strong enough or powerful enough to accelerate it to change the speed drastically enough for us to measure, that means it must have been a very powerful explosion of
Yeah.
gases or whatever within inside. But anything that powerful would also mean that it could have shatter the meteors, because
Yeah.
these things they're not really hard. Usually they're either balls of snow
Yeah.
or
It's
rock
like a
or
snowball.
bit of metal.
It's just gas, dust, and ice like all
Yeah.
bunched up in a ball.
Yeah. So.
So yeah. So we might be thinking that might just be an alien observation tool. So I don't know
That would
what
be
they think
nice.
about our progress,
I mean,
cuz
give it about 100, 200 years or whatever. Once technology advances, we might be doing the same thing. Once we have the technology to send things out to other solar systems within
how crazy would that be if
20,
we
10 years, we might do something the same. We just send a probe out there,
what
just go check out what's over there, and then I don't know.
can can you imagine what if we discovered like what you call it? We discovered some galactic neighbors out there. We just have somebody that's like,
Mm,
"Hey, what's up, guys? Glad you finally reached
yeah.
warp technology."
Hey, fellow aliens, we can travel now. I
Yeah.
don't know. I mean, yeah, that would be great. That would honestly, that would be amazing if we can actually find some technology or some other civilizations out there. Um,
Can you imagine like how much that would change the landscape of like how we think?
yeah, yeah. If we find some life, I do believe that life um life is it's well, not super common, right? Because we're the only ones here on this solar system.
Hmm.
But if we find life, it's just gonna be either dinosaur style life. That's what I believe that we're gonna find.
I mean,
'Cause
we've already seen that we found like bacteria like on other planetary bodies and whatnot. So I mean,
oh, things that
lower
look like say right
it,
remnants.
it's just like the only issue we've ran into is trying to see if intelligent life can be
Yeah,
found.
that's gonna be the difficult one because
Hmm.
what if 20 million years ago aliens passing by, they found Earth and the same thing. They just they found it, but they just looked into it and it's full of dinosaurs or whatever. So they
Yeah.
just moved on
You
to
know,
the next one.
a small sidebar, real quick. Um, speaking about aliens and life and stuff like that. People, there was like, what are you calling the crackpots? No, not Chris. Conspiracy theorists. Theory,
Crackpots.
theory, crock. I don't know. There's some people who think
Okay.
that that um that basically Earth is just an alien experiment that's been going on for a few million years. Like
Oh, that yeah.
yeah, like they say they say that the dinosaurs were an experiment, and then something else was an experiment, and now we're the current experiment with human civilization. You know.
I mean, maybe. I mean,
Hmm.
there's nowhere to say no.
Because I mean, look at like the Egyptian hieroglyphs and stuff like that. They always displayed godlike beings who were like guiding them on what they should or should not do.
Hmm.
It's like, what if those were the aliens? Just saying,
Yeah.
hey, do this shit, man. Jesus.
Well, where are they? Because the pyramids were built at least 7,000 years ago. Because we don't really know the exact date, but
Yeah.
what
I
happened?
mean,
Where did they
wi-
go
I
so
mean,
long?
considering that they said, oh, they use primitive saws and shit like that to build these great pyramids, bro. We can't build that shit now. So like,
I mean, of course not. We don't have that technology.
there is there is ancient technology that was, you know,
Lost. So, oh,
yeah.
do you want to know what's the? Do you want to know what is the what's called the earliest human technology that we have lost?
What?
That is only about 40 years old.
What?
That we lost. We actually lost the technology to go back to the moon.
Real? Really?
Yeah, we don't. We honestly, NASA has said many times, we don't know how. We don't have the technology or the knowledge or the know-how on how to build another rocket to go to the moon. Like to rebuild what was built in the 60s. We don't have that anymore.
That's crazy. How?
Yeah, because even though, yeah, sure, the technology advance and everything, that's cool. But for instance, like the way that
But the information was lost, right?
uh
Because we didn't have that.
it-
We didn't have
because,
super advanced computers back then, right?
yeah, yeah, but the thing is that so we do have the schematics and everything. However, the way that the NASA explained it a while back ago was that sure, like the schematic says, yeah, build this thing and then build this other thing. I made both out of metal and whatever, and then just put them together. That's all that says. What was lost is that the mastery of the welders to actually make those things get together without over engineering.
The metallurgy of it.
Yeah, because there's a lot of know-how too that was not like those sort of small things that are not put into paper. We
Yeah.
don't, we don't have that, or the same technology that was used to build or the same things, or the same way to build things, to build like the rockets and stuff. We
Mm-hmm.
don't have that anymore.
Mm,
That's either been lost to either people who just build things because they had the experience and the knowledge and the know-how. That
mm-hmm.
was because back then, we didn't have a whole bunch of tech people. So all of these tech people that are now into tech, they would have been into metal workers, welders,
Mm-hmm.
or those sort of things.
Okay.
So that's, more people would have been able to build more, something more complex, more, the like, do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
understand. So I
So
mean,
that's what
it's
we
kind of
lost.
like how we lost, like sidebar again, like how we lost the technology to make like samurai swords, like you
We
know.
can say, I mean, well, I mean, the Japanese, yeah, I guess maybe,
I mean, but like
a long
perfect,
time
like
ago.
they had it before.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, like,
we
yeah, like,
can make Chinese knockoffs all day, but like how they got them like back then, like perfect. I don't know. That might be
yeah,
lost a little bit.
yeah,
I mean, I may
yeah.
be off on that, but it's something related. Um, okay, let's piggyback on the first subject we have, with the graphics card and how we're in like a PC part drought. Newegg runs a raffle to pay full price for PC parts. So, so get this, because how hard it is to get anything. Like I'm guessing it's because of like bots, because bots are like buying up, or are just snatching up all the fucking checkouts for the newest new latest and greatest
Mm-hmm.
computer parts.
Buying
So
everything in seconds.
like the newest AMD like CPUs and the newest Nvidia cards, Newegg is just running a raffle to just pick random people so they can buy it full price. Like people think it's like, oh, a raffle, we're gonna get
Not
this
full
for
price.
free.
No, not full price. Well, at least, what's it called? M,
No, a
MR,
chance to
MSRP.
buy, a
Yeah,
chance to buy it.
at MRP price.
Yeah, MSRP. Yeah, full price.
MSRP. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of. I mean, at least that is a solution. I would
yeah.
guess. I would
But
assume.
isn't
At
that
least,
so crazy? Because like usually when you run a raffle, like it's a prize to like win something for free or at a discounted price or something like that.
no.
But no, we're running a raffle just so you can get a chance to buy this.
Maybe that's a way to make sure that freaking scalpers are not going around.
Yeah, with the bots and shit, fucking
Yeah.
buying it. That
Like,
that's just so absolutely insane on how everything is going with, just bots and everyone staying at home and just so much absurd stuff's been going. Yeah, yeah. Micro Center does it too, Crouching Penguin. Dude, that's wild. That's actually crazy.
ooh.
I didn't know that. I just heard about the Newegg thing. All right. So I mean, so that's what it is. That's what we've come down to. Uh
That's what we come down
yeah. All right.
to.
Now, going back to our next subject, um so going back in technology and Nvidia is trying to make big moves because vast data allies with Nvidia for reference storage architecture for AI. So do you understand what that means, Carlos?
Wait, sorry. Repeat that again.
Vast data, which is like a server storage like technology company,
Mm-hmm.
allies with Nvidia on reference storage architecture for AI.
For AI, so they want
Yeah.
to make storage specifically made for AI.
So basically I think what it is that Nvidia is going to be using their AI technology to be running storage solutions and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Like if I can bring it up right
I mean,
here.
I don't. But what do you know what the difference is between that and regular storage?
Okay.
Because I
So
mean, I get that I get that AI usually requires different kind of processing.
yeah,
But
like like a network attached storage system, right? And a not a NAS system, you
hmm
know. So according to this, what's going on is vast data can be connected to NVIDIA servers over NFS, over RDMA, NFS multipath, or NVIDIA GPU direct storage interfaces. The systems can be incorporated within a larger converged storage fabric that might be based on multiple storage protocols. So I'm guessing, so it's saying vast data makes use of proprietary erasure coding, containers, Intel Optane memory, data deduplication. So like basically anything that like they have to run with their like servers, like any like moving stuff or
Mm-hmm.
you know creating duplications of something like backups and whatnot, it's gonna be using Nvidia's um, AI features to be um,
Mm.
to be controlling all of it. So like Nvidia is definitely going full on with like AI and what they're going to be doing with it. What do you think about that?
I I think it's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's really, yeah, it's interesting, and because I'll be honest, I don't really understand how this technology would um would get used, or how it actually works. I should say.
Mhm.
I don't, but as long as it gives us better storage in high speed storage,
Mhm.
we kind of we kind of need.
Mhm.
Other than that, I mean, it's cool. I just hope that all of that would that technology would just trickle down
Yeah.
to that down to us.
I'm
But yeah, I
guessing,
mean,
yeah, I'm guessing like it's like the AI functions will just serve better to be sorting out all this information and stuff like
mhm,
that. Just because like the sheer amount of information we can make is crazy.
yeah,
Like imagine just like YouTube servers, man. And YouTube still has like their videos from like when they first started. you know?
I know, yeah,
That's insane. How much data that shit like they hold or they compress or whatever. And that's just YouTube.
yeah. I mean, I guess, yeah, I guess. Can you imagine a future where instead of having a database encoding the and just writing the code for implementing a database and having your system talk to the database? Because right now, even if you have AI or machine learning, it
Mhm.
still it has to interact with the database in the old-fashioned way, same way that everything does. But what if it had its own protocol, its own way of doing things? That would
Mhm.
mean that database load times and seek times would drastically improve.
Yeah.
And because, yeah, and one of the things that I'm pretty sure that uh, Google, YouTube, and
Sup
any
camper.
huge corporation um, struggles with, it just, I mean, everyone's dealing with hundreds of gigabytes of data of tables, and
Dude,
we
we're
need
dealing with
to.
petabytes of data now.
Oh, I wouldn't even be amazed if Google said that they have several uh, terabytes or petabytes of data in the database.
Tetrabytes. Is
So
that bigger than a petabyte? Or are you talking about terabytes?
terabytes,
Oh, okay, okay. You
terabytes,
said tetra. I was
petabytes.
like, what? Is this
Oh,
something I've never heard of
yeah, it's
before?
terabytes, petabytes, exabytes,
yeah.
and zettabytes. But yeah,
My mind can barely wrap around like petabytes I can understand, but like over that is pretty insane to me how much data that is.
oh yeah, yeah, and I'm pretty sure that companies like Google, they're getting close to the wait, tetrabytes, petabytes? No,
Petabyte.
tetrabyte,
No,
petabyte,
exabyte.
exabyte. Yeah, because I think like 10 years ago or something like that, someone made a calculation of how much data was on the internet, and they made it out to be something like, back then it was estimated to be something about 3 point some zettabytes,
Damn.
something like that. It's like, it just goes in level
Are you just saying like that's
level.
the current amount of data we have like in the world right now?
10 years ago.
10 years ago.
Yeah. So right now it's probably, I don't know, much more than that, 20, 50
I'm
zettabytes or
thinking
something
like
like that.
20. That's crazy.
Zettabyte. Yeah, because, yeah, you know, it, we can start throwing numbers. So,
We
if we
just need
say,
to keep coming up with more and more storage solutions.
Yeah,
Because otherwise they'd be taking up so much space, like physical space.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah. Because on data servers, that's also always one of the things. You always want the most the most server density per server rack.
Hmm.
So the more servers you can pack there, and the more data and storage and stuff, processing power that you can just store per rack, it's always the
Hmm.
best.
Okay.
So
All right. Let's move on. All right. This is one that you ran by me. Google reaches agreement on framework to
oh
pay
yeah.
French publishers for content snippets. Explain that to me because I don't know much about what's going
Okay.
on with that.
So a couple years ago,
Mm-hmm.
the French government and some other European countries, they
Mm-hmm.
said, they told Google, "Hey Google, so we see that you are archiving and on whenever you will Google for news or whatever,
Yeah.
like those snippets, those 2 or 3 paragraphs of data that you get on Google's result page."
Yeah.
So the newspapers, they didn't like that. They say, "Oh, you're showing our data. With just a title and in those 3 paragraph, 2 or 3 paragraphs, people can get pretty much the whole thing out of the whole article, and
Mm-hmm.
that's taking click views from us. So you have to pay us." That happened a couple years ago, and then Google was like,
So the
"Oh,
French government was telling Google, is like, pay us,
yeah,
man,
yeah." Well,
please.
no, not the French government, the French publicists, like a lot of publicists. So the French government passed a law saying, "Okay, fine, and if you want to show a snippet of data from newspapers, you have to pay them." So Google was like, "Oh, really? Okay, never mind. I'm not gonna show anything." So now, so then, which obviously makes sense, right? So now, now they're saying that, no, Google, because and then now now they're complaining that they're not getting any traffic because obviously Google is not showing them because Google doesn't want to pay them. So Google's not including them
In
in
the search result.
exactly. Now they're bitching about it. They're like, "No, no, we have no traffic." And then Google's like, "Well, I'm gonna have to show those snippets." And they're like, "But you have to pay us." "No, I'm not gonna pay you." So they still like that. Now they're like, "No, now the government has passed another law that it's making Google pay them." Like kind of like, "No, Google, you have to pay them. You have to show them, and you have to pay them."
Damn. So
And
they're just
yeah,
so they're just like strong arming, like they're
yeah,
trying to strong arm them, and Google's like, nah, fuck that shit.
yeah. Can you imagine if you had a toy or something like that, and then your brother was like, "Hey, can I have some of that?" And you were like, "No, if you wanted some, you should have bought some yourself."
Hmm.
And then he goes and complains to your mom, and your mom is like, "No, you have to give him some."
That's
He's like,
crazy.
"No, mom, no, screw my brother." No." Yeah,
uh,
so that's what's going on.
okay.
I I
So
I I just
so a
think
lot
that
of back and forth between Google and the like. I
the
looked at the snippet. It said like the Pan EU like coalition or whatever.
yeah, yeah. So I just think that that's BS. Because they're
BS on what part? Like on the government or on Google's
yeah.
end?
No, on the government, because
Okay.
yeah, Google is a private company.
Yeah.
They are there to make money. They're there for profit.
Hmm.
They're not a government service,
Yeah.
and they are treating Google as a government service
True.
that which should not. It's like I mean, yeah, sure, Google has a huge monopoly and whatever, but and whatnot. But so then the government should also then make up another program to help other second, third party, so some other search engines also. Like like yeah, sure, let's give a grant to, I don't know, DuckDuckGo or Ask Jeeves or whatever,
Yeah.
just at least help them get some spotlight, because the only way to because it doesn't matter. You can find Google as much as you want for monopolistic behavior.
Hmm.
I mean, that does nothing if you never really talk about the other players. Because Google will never talk about the other search engines, even though they're there. Google's never gonna mention them. So if I don't know, maybe
Yeah, they'll never
uh,
talk about them as competition and
yeah,
whatnot.
maybe the government should talk about them, and I don't know, just like mention them, talk about them, help them.
What do you think
You know,
about our, off topic? What do you think about our Google overlords, Carlos?
I don't know. They do have a big haul of data. Not gonna lie, they do have a lot of it,
Hmm.
but also I mean, they do things. I mean, they're the only ones who do things right when it
Yeah,
comes to gather data. To when it comes to do things,
you,
even though yeah, they
yeah,
pretty much
you don't think like they're like a big brother or anything, or not? What's it, Big Brother? Was that
yeah
what they call it?
yeah.
Big Brother watching you? Is
I
that the
don't
term?
know.
I think it's
Yeah,
called Big Brother.
it is. Yeah, it is
Yeah,
from
but they
from
don't
the
they don't
government.
do that. You're just saying, well, I mean, they do gather data on pretty much everything. I mean, like
Yeah,
advertising wise, because that's how they make their bottom line. But
yeah,
you're saying like they don't do anything maliciously.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, it is probably possibly malicious, but
Yeah.
also it's like the reason why they don't have competitors because they do things so well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like they're actually going out of the way. Well, well, in some cases, they are going out of the way to bring down the all the people, but at least they're not doing it like kind of like Apple is doing it, where if you make
Oh,
if
like
you
they're not like strong arming like their
yeah
competition. They're
yeah
just doing shit.
yeah. For instance, like there are many occasions where, for instance, on iOS, where people have built some made some really cool apps, and then Apple will literally copy a lot of their whole functionality and a lot of things from them, and then Apple will release their own Apple just based on all of that, and then they will just kick them out or ban them for because they were like, oh yeah, you cannot do the same thing that we do.
Oh
But
yeah,
that's
kind of like
they're
um
doing a lot of apps
you
like
know,
that.
like going back on that like example, Apple back in the day did not have NFS. You remember near field systems? Do you remember that?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
like, you know, if any of you guys know, chat, um that um what you use for like Apple Pay, Google Pay, like Samsung Pay, all that shit, that what came out on Android years before Apple decided to do it. But then, you know, it didn't become mainstream to Apple was just like, "Hey, we got this new thing." And it's like, "This is how you're doing." It's like, "It's not new, man." It's like you just are presenting it new. Like, and that's why people get stuck on that shit.
yeah. So
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's move on. All right. Next one. Uh, continuing on the Apple
uh
products and whatnot.
yeah.
This one it was saying Ubuntu now runs on M1 Max. Please explain that, Carlos, because this is the subject you brought to me.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So there's this one other company called what's it called? Corellium. That
Corellium. Yeah.
yeah they are a security firm that they
Mm-hmm.
have released a version of Ubuntu to
Mm-hmm.
run on Apple's M1 chips. However, it's limited. Functionality is limited. Yeah, you will be able to put into the desktop,
Yes.
but if you want network connections or something like that, you will need to use a dongle because the access
So,
to the
but you can't boot up from its
yeah
native hard drive.
yeah
You just have to do it from the thing.
exactly, which is kind of cool. Not gonna lie, those M1 chips, yeah, they're pretty cool. They're pretty cool.
I mean,
Yeah,
so explain to me, what is an M1 Mac?
it's just an ARM chip. Same thing
Oh,
that
okay.
yeah, it's same chip. Well, not literally the same, but somewhat the same architecture as what you can as you found in your as you find in your cell phones, tablets.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. ARM architecture. Because I remember, wasn't it Nvidia just bought out ARM, or did they try? They tried to.
No, Nvidia owns ARM.
They own ARM,
Yeah,
but they're
they own their ARM schematic, so they way because ARM is just a way of building chip. Oh,
yeah,
not building, the way that they work.
yeah.
That's the that just that's what ARM is, and Nvidia owns that. And then
Okay,
Nvidia licenses the way of working. They just license to whoever wants to pay for them.
yeah. So they can make money off of them. Money, cause money's the bottom line.
Oh yeah,
Okay, let's let's approach one of our last subjects, and then we'll talk about like what we might be coming up with for the next episode or whatnot. But the last one we're talking about is the Raspberry Pi Foundation. As you may know, makes the Raspberry Pi products. Let me see if I got one lying around here.
Oh, I have one right here. I have a
Oh,
Raspberry Pi.
oh
Do you like
yeah,
my case?
yeah. Carlos made it
Look
into a
my
little
case.
retro Pi that he uses to play video games.
Look, see?
Yeah.
Freaking this. I love this thing.
I don't know where I placed mine. I'm pretty sure I have it in a backpack and stuff like that. But yeah, I use mine basically if I just needed to use
Raspberry
the
Pi is just a mini computer. So if you just wanna buy a, if you already have a monitor, uh, or a TV, and you just wanna plug in a computer for that,
Yeah,
you
I
just buy
mean
it for like
for like
35,
basic for
$50.
like basic web browsing and stuff like that, that's super cheap. Like it's what,
Yeah,
like $35 for a
35 to
res
50.
Yeah.
They depend on which model, but
Yeah.
they're just good things.
Yeah. I mean
It's just
it's
really good.
all right. So, um but going back on they release a $4 microcontroller. So,
Yeah. Microcontroller is just something that you add on to your it's just a small chip that you just add it to
I mean,
the
it's something that like the Raspberry Pi can do like the same things this microcontroller can do, but it's cheaper because what the microcontroller does it functions more as
no
specific applications.
yeah, for instance, like this one only has like 256 kilobytes of RAM,
Yeah.
so it's not too
I
much
mean,
for
they're for like simple functions, but like
yeah
rather than dishing out, $35 to do one function, you can pay $4, have this microcontroller, and then set
yeah
it to do whatever you need it to do.
yeah that
Like,
one thing. Yeah,
like
'cause I believe that this one has what, like a temperature sensor, if I
yes,
believe.
it does have a temperature sensor on it.
Yeah.
I mean, like chat to like um mm, to let you guys know like what you can do with the microcontroller. Here's an example. Let's say you're lazy as hell and you want to know when your dryer is finished, drying like, your clothes,
Yeah.
right? Say you're not within an earshot within the dryer to know when it's done. You can set up the microcontroller to ping a signal to send your phone, like, because you can configure like a regular Raspberry Pi to be like the server, and then the microcontroller, its literal only job is to know when the dryer's done, and then you can just send your cell phone a text message to be like, "Hey, laundry's done." Like that's an example of what you can do. Sure, you're just be like, "What the fuck? Like, why would I do that?" But like, if you're kind of like a tech enthusiast, or like you like to do cool things like that, it's kind of cool. Like if for $4 you can do this. Um, yeah. So like
Yeah.
I mean that I think that's pretty cool. I might come up with a like I'll do a YouTube video on like doing something like that. That's actually kind of been in the back of my mind, but I've always been so friggin' lazy about it.
Well, right now will be a good time, especially with this thing that is $4.
Yeah. Um. So yeah. So chat going, coming back, so like to the whole show as a whole. Um. This is something that me and Carlos and friends have done like as a show, and I do want to keep continuing doing this, and Carlos wants to continue doing this because we just love talking about stuff like this.
Yeah, I'm just here just to nerd out and
Yeah.
just I know yeah, just to talk about whatever crazy ideas I have or whatever crazy things we find.
Yeah. Um so um for the people on Twitch, obviously only you guys have access for my Twitch subscribers and VIPs. You Facebook guys, you guys got access to it. And then YouTube, you guys get it a day later, and also Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and all that stuff will also get it a day later. Once I continue my subscription for my directory, because this shit costs money, and we don't make money off this show. Not yet. So I mean, I will be setting up a Patreon page so you guys can help us out so we can try to keep it going. Um so yeah, on that next week or so, I did see that AMC theaters will be opening up uh their doors on the 29th, so maybe me and Carlos can go back to going to the movies and giving you guys movie reviews.
Yeah.
Cause that's kind of something, like I sent Carlos a meme the other day showing that it was like I miss this feeling, and it was just like a picture of the inside of a theater, and that was yeah, that's kind of like me and Carlos's pastime. We go watch a movie together.
To
Um,
get drunk.
yeah. So when it comes to the show, we're gonna try to keep this on a weekly basis, or maybe even like more so. Depends on like how everything works out between my stream schedule, working, and all that jazz. Um, but yeah. So thank you guys for joining. You know, my Twitch viewers, love you guys, or my Twitch subs. Um, like YouTube, you guys are gonna be see this. Thank you guys, and Facebook, you guys are doing great too. Um, so me and Carlos are gonna sign off, and then hopefully we'll see you guys next week, and I'll try to keep posted updates on my Twitter. We'll try to reorganize our socials and all that stuff so you guys can get the latest updates and whatnot. But yeah, Carlos, say bye to the crowd. Thanks for dropping by, and I hope to do
Later,
this
guys.
again soon. All right. Peace.